Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Virtual Accommodations and Modifications EdCamp Professional Development Session. We'll get started here in a second. Just a reminder that this session is being recorded for those who weren't able to attend the session today so that it can be viewed at a later date and time. Again, the session will be recorded. Just a little bit about myself. My name is Ashley Thomas, and I have been the Assistive Technology Specialist at Northampton for the past 10 years. And I work collaboratively with the Special Education and Technology departments. I currently am a Google Certified Educator. I have my Level 1 certificate, and I'm currently moving forward to obtain the Level 2 certification. We're going to start off this session with a quick review on the basics of what an accommodation is versus what a modification is, just so that we have a basic understanding of the concepts. So accommodations, they change how. The important word is how. So they change how a student learns the material. They change the way the student accesses information and demonstrates learning. An accommodation does not substantially change the content, instructional level, or the performance criteria. It also, an accommodation provides equal access to learning. Now, on the other hand, a modification, it changes in what a student is expected to learn or demonstrate. It allows for a student's meaningful participation within the curriculum. An accommodation can change the content or the complexity or the amount of work required, the performance criteria, or adding personal relevance to a topic for that student. So those are just, again, the basics of the differences between what an accommodation is and what a modification is. We'll move on to the next slide. Just a little thing I wanted to touch on. All students, not just students with disabilities, benefit from specialized supports and services to differentiate instruction within online programs or the virtual learning. A variety of the tools that I'm going to be discussing in this session are beneficial and available to all students, not just those with IEPs. There will be some that, along the terms of some of the modifications, those are specialized to students with IEPs. So if you have any questions about the differences and what is available or appropriate for who, please don't hesitate to reach out. So over here, we're going to focus, like I said, on accommodations, modifications, and then I'll provide you guys with some additional information and resources. We're going to start off talking about some of the virtual accommodations that are possible. And just a little quick note that this presentation is not, an exhaustive list. There are many more different types of accommodations and modifications that can be presented or implemented in, the world of online learning. It just would take a lot longer than the time that we have for today. Okay, so virtual accommodation options. Sometimes we need to have improve access to text for students with comprehension difficulties. So, for example, the accommodation in the brick and mortar setting might have been something along these lines. We'll have text, assignments, quizzes, tests, etc., read aloud by a staff member. And, this may have been worded a little differently, say in a student's IEP, but again, the foundation is that they will have the text read aloud by, a staff member, whether that be the teacher, instructional assistant, etc. In the virtual setting, to be able to implement that, accommodation or SDI, it could say something along the lines of, we'll use text to speech to read required materials. And here is an example of that specific virtual accommodation. One of the tools that they could use is the Select to Speak Chromebook accessibility feature. If any of you have already participated in my other session that I was presenting, some of these things are going to be talked about in both presentations, but they're going to be focused differently. So feel free to watch both sessions. All right, so again, the Select to Speak Chromebook accessibility feature, what it allows your student to do is select specific content for them to be able to hear it out loud in synthesized speech, again, to aid in comprehension. This tool allows them to read from websites, accessible PDFs, Schoology, Google Docs, forms, etc. Those are just some of the places that basically as long as the student can highlight the text and it's recognized as text and not an image, then this tool is going to be able to help them. So what I'm going to do briefly is I'm going to show you guys an example of how this might work for your students. So say you directed your student, we're going to go over here. You wanted them to go to a website and they need to read something. What they're going to be able to do is we're going to use the Select to Speak extension. And again, in the other presentation, I go a little more in depth of how they turn this feature on and how they use it. So we'll just turn it on. Okay. And then what we're going to do is we're going to click our tool down here, the Select to Speak little icon. We're going to highlight what we want said like this.
Northampton Area School District Administration is considering options for the 2020-21 school year.
All right, and we hit pause. So again, that tool will read what is on the screen out loud to the students. They can listen to it multiple times. You know, if they need that repetition, they can go back and have that sentence read to them, 2 times, 5 times, whatever they need. What was also nice is as it was speaking, it was highlighting what word was being said. So that kind of helps them hone in and focus on where they are within what is being read. Okay, so we'll go back here. And again, that is just one of the places that students can use things to be read to them. We'll go on to the next type of virtual accommodation. Here's another one. So for example, in the brick and mortar setting, maybe they need staff members, they go over the directions orally with the students. In the virtual setting, staff members can provide audio clips of directions. So that way, again, if the students still need those directions read out loud to them, it can just be in a different format. A nice way to do this is through using Google Slides. They have a new insert audio feature. You have to create your audio outside of the Google Slide. You need to create it in a different program. And there is a free website that you can do that, or you can do that in GarageBand. You just have to upload that audio file to your Google Drive, and then you'll be able to select it. Super easy. It's very quick, actually. I did one when I was putting together this presentation. So what I did is I'm going to show you guys a little example of maybe a direction that I'm giving you. So here's actually what it would look like, your little audio directions. All they would have to do is click play.
Go ahead and click on the Google Slides insert audio text.
And again, you could also over here on the right, I'm showing you guys some of the formatting options for the insert audio feature. You can have it so that that audio only plays when the students click on it. You can have it play automatically when that student goes to that Google slide. You could have it loop the audio so that it just keeps repeating what's being said over and over. So again, there's a lot of different formatting options. So, and like I had just referenced for you guys, you all have a copy of the slide presentation for this professional development session. A lot of the places within the slide deck, you can actually click on them. So you'd be able to find that out by hovering over them. And if you get the little, the hand with the finger pointing, that means that's a resource that you can click on. So we're going to go ahead and click on that. And that's actually going to bring up another little helpful website about how to insert audio into the Google Slides. This person also explains where you can, create your audio. I use this online voice recorder website. It's web-based. There's no sign-in required. You literally just click the button to start recording, do your recording. It downloads the file, and then you just have to add it to your Google Drive. And again, this feature can be used, for other purposes other than, having the directions presented orally. You can use this for a multitude of other things for your students. Making your lessons a little more interactive, or, providing your feedback to them. Again, the students can access the audio clip and have directions read aloud as many times as they need. Another virtual accommodations option to support students with written expression challenges. In the brick and mortar setting, it might have been staff member will scribe or transcribe students' written work. We see that a lot. In the virtual setting, maybe the student will use speech to text, which is also voice typing, to complete their written work. What I like about a lot of these, virtual tools is that it's creating a little more independence for that student, getting them ready to self-advocate for themselves, getting them, comfortable with being independent and knowing that they can do these things on their own, and, that they don't have to rely on a staff member, to be successful. All right, here's the example of the virtual accommodation. So the students' Chromebooks, they have voice recognition. There is a bunch of different places that the voice recognition works and different ways that it's available. It essentially enables the student to use speech-to-text dictation in programs where, you would normally type. This is helpful for students who struggle with writing, typing, or just getting their thoughts out. If there's a student who has all these great ideas, but the physical process of either handwriting or typing, it causes them to lose those thoughts. So this is a way for them to, be able to get out all of that great content that they have. So I'm going to show you two different ways that your students can use the dictation. One is available within Google Docs. Now, this is one also that you guys can go try out at the end of this. Again, some of these tools you'll be able to try out, and some you won't be able to if you don't have a Chromebook. Only some are Chromebook specific. All right, so we are in a blank Google Doc. We're going to give it a second to load. All they have to do is go to Tools, click on voice typing. If they don't want to click on it and they like using keyboard shortcuts, again, there's a keyboard shortcut here, Control-Shift+S. That will turn on the voice typing for them. So we're just going to click it, and it's going to bring up our microphone right here. The first time either you or your students use this feature, it's most likely going to ask if you want to allow the use of your microphone. You have to say yes, or else it's not going to work. To begin, all you have to do is click on the microphone. And as I start talking, it's going to type out what I'm saying, exclamation point. Normally it's pretty accurate, comma, but sometimes it makes mistakes, period. And to turn it off, you just click back on it. Again, this still makes the students be responsible for, proofreading and editing to make sure that what they, spoke and what actually came out is, accurate. What's really nice about this as well is they can also then use the tool that we talked about earlier, the Select to Speak tool, so that they can actually highlight. They can Actually, no, they don't need to highlight. Sorry, that was an old tool that I used. All right, so all they have to do is click on their select to speak, highlight this.
And as I start talking is going to type out what I'm saying. Normally it's pretty accurate, but sometimes it makes mistakes.
Okay, so again, obviously it caught, I did not say is going, I don't think. So, again, your students will have to just go back and proofread and, make those edits. The other spot where they can use, so this voice typing feature is available within Google Docs. The Chromebooks themselves have a voice recognition. So anywhere basically that you can type, you can use your voice. So I'm going to go ahead back to turn that on. I'm going to turn on dictation. So now down here again at the bottom, we have our new accessibility feature. And what I'm going to do is if your student is taking a quiz, we're going to open up and pretend that our sign-in form is the quiz. So if they have to answer a question, we'll just go right here. They just click here. That isn't going to work because I have editing rights. One moment. Actually, we'll just go. Let's see. Where should we go? We'll just go to Google. So in Google, they would just have to click Northampton Area School District. So again, how quick was that? It might take your student a very long time to have to be able to type out something where they can use their voice and have it done in a couple seconds. So it saves time. And again, like I had mentioned in Google Form, if you have them doing a quiz, they can, use their voice to have the answers typed out. They can do that in Schoology, Google Classroom, anywhere where there is a text field where they would type. So that's a pretty neat feature. Again, there are videos here on how that feature works and how your students can turn it on. So if you have any more questions about that, check out some of those resources. All right, we're going to move on to some modifications. All right, virtual modification option. If a student needs content at a reduced grade level, so in the brick and mortar setting, for example, maybe they had modified text or materials provided at a reduced grade level or their instructional level. In the virtual setting, it might look like their text and materials are modified using an online tool. Now, again, this is one of the tools that you guys are going to be able to practice with at the end of the session. This can be something that you guys do ahead of the time for your students, whether, you as the regular education teacher do it, the special education, like, your co-teacher, or again, your student can use this, if they want to do this on their own. So what I'm going to do here, we're going to move on. I'm going to show you the example of the tool. The tool for this is called Rewordify. It's a free web-based program that is a phenomenal resource. Essentially, it helps people read more. It helps teachers teach more effectively. It simplifies, the English language, and it builds vocabulary in new ways. So right here, again, just for your reference, you can always click on Rewordify, and it's going to take you directly to the website. And then again, there is a tutorial here. It kind of gets a little more in depth about, what the website has to offer. So we're going to go over to Rewordify. Website is super simple to use. And before the session started, I had actually went and found, an article that has some pretty, complex language in it. All you have to do is, you copy and paste your text. If it's text that you don't have electronically, you can always type that in so that you have it. What's nice about this website, even though it's free, you can create a free account and save the stuff that you are rewordifying so that you don't have to do it over and over again. Maybe you're going to do something that you're going to share with a bunch of teachers, on your team. It's a great thing to do because then you can share what you've already done. So what we're going to do is we're going to just click on our rewordify text button now that we already have our text there. Okay, and it comes up really nice. So it basically said that they found 59 hard words in the passage that I had put into the Rewordify program. So basically, again, it is reducing the, the complexity of what the student is reading so that they are able to comprehend it better. But it also gives you right here, print and learning activities. It gives you the ability to still have your students focus on the words that it changed. Because again, some of those might be, vocabulary words or key words, that you're focusing on. So it's not like once they change the words, that all is lost. It is fantastic. So any of my words that are in highlighted in yellow here, these are the words that it changed. So it changed the word adolescents to teens. It also changed, it changed sometimes. It used to say in some cases. So again, it changed my whole article here. What you can also do here in our settings is it shows you what the original looks like, and then again, the sample with the highlights. There are different things you can do with the display mode. You could also do the rewordifying level. That basically, like it says here, it lets you raise or lower the difficulty threshold of the words that the site rewords. Easiest rewords as many possible words, and then the hardest, only does a couple words. So depending on, your specific student or what your goal is with this, you can choose which rewordifying level you want. Again, you can change the highlights, you can do it to an underlined, or you can do it to none. So we're going to hit save and close. So this is the Rewordify website. I'm going to go back here. We're going to come back and hit back on the Rewordify website in addition to what I'm going to talk about right now. Another virtual modification option is, the student needs the amount of content reduced. For example, in the brick or mortar setting, maybe the student is provided with a shortened or condensed version of content to focus on main points. In the virtual setting, information could be summarized and shortened using an online tool. So the next tool I'm going to show you, again, it can be used independently or it can be used in conjunction with using Rewordify. Again, for those students who not only need, their content modified to, a different level of difficulty, you can also then take that Rewordified paragraph that you have here and you can put it into summary. So let's see if I can copy and grab this. So we're going to grab our Rewordified text. And then we're going to go over to, again, summary. It's a free website, super easy to use. And take note, they spelled it summarized because, you still see that the word is summary. So what we're going to do is we're just going to copy and paste our text over here. You can then choose how many sentences you want out of your original content. So we'll keep it at, we'll just go to 6 sentences, okay? And then all you have to do is hit summarize. Might take a couple seconds to summarize. It uses an algorithm of pulling out the, the main points or, the meat of the article or the text. So our original content was reduced by 66%. So again, that can be a major difference for some of our students. So again, here's our article now. You still have the main points that the student need. You could then, share that as an assignment with a student, or again, this is something that they could use as well. They can go onto the website and, summarize information that they need. Okay, we'll go back here. This is just the example of the summary program. Again, there is a video there. It also links to the website. And just to hit back on this, summary provides an efficient manner of understanding text, which is done primarily by reducing the text to only the important sentences. And I know some of you are probably thinking, but every sentence is important, and I feel you. But again, depending on the circumstance, sometimes, not all the sentences are needed for the student, depending on, what the overall goals are for that assignment or for that student. So what I'm going to do is also I'm going to provide you with a couple additional informational pieces that are relevant to, the online learning and, making sure each specific student has what they need. I wanted to talk about, Schoology. Schoology, in the upper grades is, the main learning management system. What is nice about Schoology is that you can individually assign folders within Schoology. You can assign it to specific students or grading groups so that only those assignees can view the folder and its contents. You can also, again, individually assign course materials that, for example, are modified with the help of the co-teacher. If you add them as a teacher to your courses, they'll also be able to, upload those materials. What's nice about this is that your students can, it's easier for the student to access things in the same place as everyone else. For example, your special education student who, needs their materials modified or, different than the rest of their classmates. When you are giving directions to the majority of your class, you're walking them through the steps of how to access things through Schoology. So why not make it a centralized place, for all students to be able to access their content? And not only that, it promotes further inclusion. And it makes it one less place that you guys have to go to. So over here is a link. We'll click on that quick. And again, this is just one of the support articles from Schoology about, how do I individually assign course materials? So if you ever want to do that, it explains how to do that. Again, if you want to create a modified version of an assignment or a test for certain students, if you have students that maybe the original assignment has 15 questions, and you have a group of students or a single student that, are only going to get 7 questions, you are able to, differentiate and provide those separate assignments to the students who need them. And I can't forget about my elementary grades. Again, in Google Classroom, you have the ability to assign things to individual students. Your co-teacher, again, if they create modified work, they can assign those to a specific student as long as they are, added as a teacher to that Google Classroom. There's a video here, shows you how to do that, how to assign, things to individual students. A really cool resource that I found during, this time of online learning it's called the Sherlock Center Resource Library. So I'm going to click on this. And what this is an adapted literature and lessons. These are available to anybody. And they have a ton of books on here, the classics, again, A Christmas Carol, A Tale of Two Cities, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. What's really awesome about this is providing the book in a manner that has symbols along with the words for those students who need that level of support. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on, again, it has PowerPoint as an option for some of them and a PDF for others. So we're going to click on 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. And it's going to bring up this PDF version of this book. Okay, here's our book. All right, this is part 1, chapter 1. Here we have our symbols that go along with the words. So again, you have those students who, might not be able to participate in the, the original novel, and they might need an adapted version. Well, come and check out this Sherlock library because they have tons of stuff and it is amazing. And again, you could even use some of those other tools that I discussed in this presentation, to make it even more adapted, where if they need, some of the content read aloud to them still, and they, do better listening to things instead of, reading them, that is an option as well. If you want further information about that, let me know, and I can gladly walk you through that. So I just wanted to share that because I feel like not a lot of people know about that, especially with, the wide array of resources that are out there. It can become very overwhelming to, find and pick out the good ones and then remember where you put them and not have 20 million tabs or bookmarks. All right, we are reaching the end of our session today. I just wanted to leave you with a couple more resources. Each of these circles is a clickable link that you guys can click on. I'm going to leave you guys with my assistive technology Google site. I try to put a variety of tech resources and tutorials on there. It's constantly being updated and changed with, the most relevant information. Also, we have my assistive technology Twitter. I post content related to technology to help all learners. I wanted to share some of the stuff that I've researched and looked at that helped me build today's presentation and just, that are helpful in general. The Pete and C conference, they had an online session and they had some slides. I referenced that slides 52 to 63 I found helpful. Also, the Edu on Air from Google, slides 11 to 18 are pretty cool and helpful. Again, it kind of goes through some of the different accommodations, and how to do them virtually, with the help of Google tools. We've reached the end of our session, and I just wanted to remind you guys to complete the sign-in form to record your attendance for the session. You can either access that sign-in form by clicking right here where it says sign-in form. It's going to bring you up to that form. Or you can also click on my Bitmoji holding the Chromebook. That'll take you to the form as well. And if you guys have any other questions or want to discuss something further from this session, please don't hesitate to email me. And please take the time to play around with some of the tools that are out there. If you have questions when you're doing so, reach out. Or if there's something that you're wondering if it could be a virtual accommodation, please let me know and I will gladly, open that discussion with you. All right, and that ends our presentation for today. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.